So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a interesting story here. And when we talk about the white supremacists, it's in every area in this country. They are. This system is so permeated with white supremacists. You can't reform this system. And I told y'all, it is their culture to be this way because this is something that's taught in the home. They make sure to teach their kids this. By the age of 2, they're already saying anti-black, speech and slurs because that's what they hear in their homes. So a former U.S. Army sniper who infiltrated the Klan in Florida as foiled 2 murder plots has come forward to put pressure on law enforcement to dismantle the large influence of the Klan in the force. Now, we know historically it's always been that way. Now, Joseph Moore, he's 50 years old, who now lives in Jacksonville with his wife and 4 children, lived a secret double life for 10 years. The Army veteran said that during his undercover career, he donned a white robe and hood as a hitman for the Klan. He attended clandestine meetings and participated in cross burnings. Boy, it's really some intelligent people who do things like that, right? Think about this. You go in the woods with a bunch of dudes and you're burning a cross. For what? Just because you hate black people and you hate everybody? I mean, you ain't got nothing else better to do with your time but hang with a bunch of dudes and do that. Like I said, I don't understand the logic. I'm pretty sure many of you don't understand the logic either. Only a devil would think like that. But he said he wore a wire that recorded conversations, which resulted in the conviction of 2 Klansmen who worked as prison guards. And that's the part that is very important in Florida. And I say ultimately saving the life of a black man whose murder he had plotted. Now I say an investigation would unearth another secret. Unknown number of Klansmen working inside the Florida Department of Corrections with significant power over inmates, black or white. It said Moore said he chose to go public now because corrections and law enforcement leaders are not doing enough to root out white supremacists and violent extremists. Now, he also said that he does not want his work and those of other confidential informers who put their lives on the line to help expose domestic extremists to be put in vain. He said he came across dozens. Listen to this. He said he came across dozens of race soldiers, prison guards, sheriff's deputies, and other law enforcement officers who were involved with the Klan and outlaw motorcycle clubs. And you wonder why black folks getting shot in the back 17 times? You wonder why black folks getting tased to death so much? You wonder why black folks having race soldiers plant evidence on them? Because a lot of them is in the freaking Ku Klux Klan. If they're not in the Klan, they're in the Proud Boys. They're in some sort of skinheads. I mean, they literally have white supremacist gangs that's running around law enforcement. And I told y'all once again, you cannot have an equal America. You cannot even have a peaceful America as long as these people run it. If you want America to change, they cannot be in power. As long as they're in power, that comes along with them. Understand? We have to understand that as a people in this country. They have proven forever that they don't know how to run anything without bringing that with them. Now, the man said he was on track to uncover more activity in law enforcement, but the immediate threat to the public with the murder plot was a priority. He said, if you want to know why people don't trust police, it's because they have a relative or friend that they witnessed being targeted by an extremist, he said, who happens to have a badge and a gun. And I know as a fact that this has occurred. I stopped a murder plot of law enforcement officers. Boy. This is why black folks don't trust the police, because we already know it's full of white supremacist gangs. We know this. This is nothing new. This is the history of America. Now, he recorded his conversations with his fellow Klansmen and shared what he learned with federal agents trying to crack down on white supremacists in Florida law enforcement. So the FBI knows that Florida has a problem. They have a major problem with white supremacists running all over the place. Now, he said one minor mistake, he said one tell he believed meant a certain violent death. He said, I had to realize that this man was shooting me in the face in a heartbeat. He said that Also, he said that there was a deep, slow draw, remember, in a particularly scary meeting in 2015. He said, but it was true of many of his days. They said, now Moore helped federal government foil at least 2 murder plots according to court records. Is he was also an active informant when the FBI exposed Klan members working as law enforcement officers in Florida at the city, county, and state levels. In other words, these white supremacists are everywhere. Now, if you go back to January the 6th, when they were storming the Capitol, you've seen them in every aspect of employment storming the Capitol. And if you just take that storming the Capitol away and look at the type of people he was doing it, I told y'all, the white supremacists that's run around in these groups or whatever, that's the ones you see. And and we cool with seeing them. The problem that we have is the ones that's at the grocery store, the ones that's in the doctor's offices or the hospital, the ones that in the DA's office, judge, those who are lawyers, right? That who working in the public defender's office and just trying to sell a black man up the road. Understand? Trying to tell him, oh, it's a good deal for you to get 30 years. This is the best you can get. You know what I'm saying? But they winking at each other here and here, like that, because you may not have no money. I mean, these people are everywhere. And in the moment you just really realize that these people are everywhere, it just sickens you. It sickens you to the core. Now, continuing. It said after Moore testified in the case, it said his work with the FBI ended because he had been publicly identified. So he said that he never shared the Klan's white supremacist views and never used racial slurs while undercover. Say on FBI recordings viewed by the AP, he was never heard using racial slurs like his former Klan brothers, but he also acknowledges that successful undercover work required him to change into a wholly different person. So he laid out a character that had been overseas, that had received medals in combat. He said they had special operations experience. He said more experience than I had, but someone that they would feel confident would be a useful asset to the organization at a much higher level. He said it worked and Moore was given a high level access. He said, if you're not credible, he said, if you're not engaged on all levels, you don't get to go home to your family. He said, today he and his family live underneath a new name. He said, apart from testifying in court, the 50-year-old has never disclosed his undercover work in the KKK publicly. And so he reached out to a reporter after the AP published a series of stories about white supremacists working in Florida prisons that were based in part on recordings and records detailing his work with the FBI. He said the FBI wanted me to gather as much information about the individuals and confirm their identities. Moore said of law enforcement officers who were involved in the Klan, and where I sat, it is more prevalent and consequential than any of them are willing to admit. When he's talking about these race soldiers, how many of them is in the Klan? He said the FBI first asked Moore to infiltrate a Klan group in rural North Florida in 2007. He said he alerted the feds to a murder plot, he said, of a Hispanic truck driver. Okay, so he was trying to murder a Hispanic man. He said then he pointed the FBI toward a deputy with the Alachua County Sheriff's Office who was a member of the same group. The FBI also identified a member of the Klan cell working in the Fruitland Park, Florida Police Department. Now, some of you brothers and sisters that live in Florida, you may be knowing these names. So these names are being called out. It lets you know you got white supremacists running around these areas. You say his years as an informant occurred during a critical time for the nation's domestic terrorism efforts. Now, in 2006, the FBI had circulated an intelligence assessment about the Klan and other groups trying to infiltrate law enforcement ranks. The assessment said in some of the law enforcement were volunteering professional resources to white supremacist causes with which they sympathize. Now, the FBI did not answer a series of questions sent about Moore's work. It said Moore said he joined the Klan only after the government approached him. He said, as a U.S. Army trained sniper, he said he felt that if his country asked him to protect the public from domestic terrorists, he had a duty. Now, he said he also required Moore to lie to his wife. Eventually, she became suspicious and he cracked. He told her and her parents what he was doing. When the FBI discovered that his wife knew, they ended the relationship with the agency. So in 2013, they say the agency was back asking him to infiltrate a different Florida Klan chapter. Okay, so this dude here, now in 2015, prison guards Thomas Driver, Dave Sarge Moran, were convicted in a 2015 murder plot alongside an exalted Cyclops, Charles Thomas Newcomb. Okay. So they say within a year of becoming neutralized, they say he had been a Grand Night Hawk of the Clavern based in rural north central Florida. He was in charge of security and the go-to guy for violence. It was at a cross burning ceremony in 2014 in December that Charles Newcomb, the exalted Cyclops of the chapter, pulled him aside to discuss a scheme to kill a black man. Okay, these people that's running around America. We talking about Florida here. You say Warren Williams, a former inmate who got into a fight with one of the Klan brothers. He said Klansmen wanted Williams dead. Said Moore alerted the FBI. He then recorded discussions of the murder plot that would lead to criminal convictions for the 3 Klansmen. So these devils, like I said, they always plotting. They always plotting. And that's why we always got to stay 10 steps ahead of them, brothers and sisters. We got to do that. He said Moore said that 3 former prison guards implicated in the murder plot operated among a group of other officer Klan members at the reception and medical center in Lake Butler, Florida, a prison where new inmates are processed. That Williams was targeted by Klansmen and former guards Thomas Driver and David Moran. Is that Williams complained to Driver because the guard was blowing smoke up his face. He said, and Driver blew more, and Williams told him to stop again. When Driver continued, Williams jumped him and they hit the ground. And said, as they struggled, Williams bit Driver and gained an advantage according to both men's accounts of the fight. And I said a group of guards responded and beat Williams so badly that he required hospitalization. They say his mother and lawyer said the Driver in turn needed a battery of precautionary tests for HIV and hepatitis C because of the bite. They said they would all be negative, but the ordeal enraged him. He wanted revenge because the brother got the best of him. Because you remember the story. He was harassing the brother. He was blowing smoke and everything in the brother's face. The brother told him to stop. Okay. So if he kept doing it, what you think the brother going to do? Sit there and just take the crap? So he wanted his revenge and proceeded to plan Williams' murder with his fellow Klansmen. Let me tell you something, brothers and sisters, about these people. These people, like I say, are devils. And this is why the world's imploding on them. It's imploding every day. And this is why you can't be acting like them. And because some of you, unfortunately, you acting just like them. Some of you're rebellious like them. You don't pay attention to things. You know, I hear some of y'all saying some things. I said, boy, and this is why some of you are getting caught up too. Because even in the scriptures in Revelation 19, when it tells you come out from among them, lest these judgments fall upon you. And the problem what's happened to some of y'all is that y'all want to act just like these folks, rebellious, doing whatever the hell you want. Sometimes y'all want to act like them just in another way. You know what I'm saying? But that's a podcast for a different day. And so a lot of these judgments not meant for you, but some of you are falling to them because you want to follow their wicked ways. Now, it said Moore said the officers he knew were actively recruiting at the prison. It said Florida Department of Corrections disputes that. Of course they're going to dispute it because they're white supremacists too. It said every day more than 18,000 correctional officers throughout the state work as public servants committed to the safety of Florida's communities. They should not be defamed by the isolated actions of 3 individuals who committed abhorrent and illegal acts several years prior. That's what the department said in the email statement. They always say that, oh, it's just a few bad apples. It's not the whole department. This man infiltrated y'all. This man said not only prison guards, but this man said regular race soldiers, sheriff's deputies. He said it's at the city level, the county level, the state level. This man, the federal government already know. Now it makes you want to go back to this Asian hate crime bill and why black people should be so upset with the Democrat Party right now. Because if you had that protection in that Asian hate crime bill, then anything these people do against you is federal. And see, that's what they didn't want to give you, because see, when you have active white supremacist groups targeting you like this, whether you're in jail, whether you wherever, right? You're on the list with these people. Now, in this story, he didn't say, the informant didn't say anything about, well, they were targeting Asian businesses and Asian people. That's not what he said. He mentioned black people and he mentioned Hispanic man. That's 2 people that he mentioned in this story. Now, of course, the spokeswoman came out, Michelle Gladdy, said The agency found no evidence of a wider membership by extremist white supremacist groups or a systemic problem. She said every allegation of wrongdoing is investigated by the department's inspector general and said that statement by the state is not accurate, said Moore, who asserts he saw evidence of a more pervasive problem. Well, you have to understand, they're not going to come out and just say, yes, sir, you're right. We're just flooded with white supremacists. They will never admit that. If they actually come out and admit that they have a white supremacist problem, their system will implode on themselves because the people will be like, oh, hell no. Listen, the people don't even respect the police now. The police have been delegitimized in America. And it's been their own fault because they got open white supremacists running around and this man just confirming it in Florida. We all knew this. We knew this. So you brothers and sisters in Florida, definitely keep your head on the swivel, with these people. Because, it's a lot of them running around Florida. I know a lot of us, definitely have came back to the South. And let me tell you something though about these white supremacists. Don't fear. Don't have fear of these people. Because the only way these people can get at you unless they ambush you. Because let me tell you something. Have y'all noticed every single time that we stepped up, in the streets as a community, going toe to toe, they always back down. It go from 1960s, even go all the way back to George Floyd. You understand what I'm saying? These people are always going to back down. They are not ready for that. They never have. See, they bad when there's about 30 of them or 10 of them jumping one black man. But when black folks are taking it toe to toe with these white supremacists, they never want to go toe to toe. They always talking about, think about it, they always talking about some race war and this and that third. But okay, well, why don't you jump it off then? Jump it off. They're always threatening that, like going, oh, you guys don't want no race war. Oh, boy. Okay, well, go ahead and jump it off then. If you want that, you do it, right? But I guarantee you it's not going to end well for you if you do decide to do that. Then white supremacists need this system. They need the ambushing. They need all of that just to make it. Because we all know they are not men. Without a weapon or an ambush, they ain't crap. And we all know this. We all know. So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we all got to keep our eyes open on these white supremacists. That's why, for me, I always say I enjoy myself when I get out of here, because at least I get away from these people. And Lord bless, down the line, I get away from these people, definitely more on a permanent basis, because I'll be so at peace when I'm away from these people. Like I said, listen, I guess at my age, I'm sick of them already. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick of their racism. I'm sick of their culture and all of that they're doing. I'm just about having some peace, right? It gets to a point in your life, you just want some peace. And you do whatever you want to do to get that. But, get some peace, shoot. Even if you don't want to go far as the continent of Africa, you can go, Barbados. You can go there to somewhere in the Caribbean. Remember I mentioned Barbados, so they just got their freedom away from the UK. So shoot, you should go down there with your brothers and sisters in Barbados or wherever you would like to go. But I think we always should have that option to get away from these white supremacists in some black nation, because we need peace. We definitely need it. But if it's your first time over here listening to the podcast, thank you for joining us here today. We greatly appreciate you. Make sure you click the like button so this video can definitely spread through the algorithm. And make sure you also subscribe so you know when we post another podcast. And if you like the show and you want to help us keep the lights on, please consider donating on Cash App. Cash App is one of the best places to donate, because when you donate on YouTube, they take 30%. Now, I know when people donate, they're not trying to give YouTube 30% of anything. So Cash App is always one of the best places to donate. And we once again thank you for listening, and see you next time.